Look, when it comes to getting in real estate, a lot of people get turned down or nervous because they're a parent, right? Trying to start a real estate business as an agent or even an investor when you have kids is mentally hard, emotionally draining, and one of those things that is not for the faint of heart. And no one told me any of this when I first got into the industry and started. At the time, I had one boy, and my wife was pregnant with our second. Right before we had our second, obviously we went through time of nonstop hospital care for months because he had a heart condition in the womb. And not only after making it through that, thankfully he's okay. He still gets monitored, every year up until this point. I got into being an agent. I had an investment property already under my belt, but I knew I wanted to start a business, and what I was doing already was not working enough to where I'm like, there has to be something better. And that's how I ended up coming, a lot of the ways, all of this story is for a different time, but I came into being a real estate agent. And obviously I had at the time, a 3-year-old son and a newborn, or a couple months old at the time that I first got licensed. Oh no, he was a year old when I got licensed. I'm sorry. But I started working as an ISA in the industry before that point. And when he was only a couple months old and I started working underneath my first broker, I was working a lot of hours, right? Like I was working the normal 8 hours during the day, taking ISA calls, but I was taking ISA calls whenever they would come in. Like it was Zillow leads. And for those of you who know what Zillow leads are, you understand what I'm talking about. And coming in randomly and things like that. And by the time I got my license, my wife had enough already. It was even a year in already. She's like, I can't do this. Like I'm on call 24/7 with that phone. And it just hit a point where I was like, is this what I really need to be doing? Should I be doing this? Is this the right business? All of those fears, I think as parents, we hit us because when you don't have kids and you remember back a time before you had kids, you really sit down, you really think, like you just put up with stuff a lot freaking longer. But when you have kids, like you don't have that luxury. Like even 1 month is an eternity. Like that's a month you can't get back with your kids anymore. Right. And that, man, it just still plagues me to this day. I mean, I'm going to get emotional here. Being an agent and getting in this industry, I mean, at the end of that first year, I mean, honestly, at the end of the first 2 years, really, I mean, I'm a couple years into this now, I felt like a shitty husband. I felt like I'm still trying to get better at it. I mean, being a bad father, I feel like I was working so much and I still am working a lot. I feel like I'm starting to find my place more, and I know it's getting better, even though I know it might not always seem that way to my family, but I've come a long way. And that's why I'm so big in what I'm doing now with helping other agents who are in my position, because I've kind of figured out a way to grow my business with getting some hours back in my life. And it's really hard to make it, obviously, with kids. And I don't think people understand. So maybe you've heard the same thing I did when I got in the industry. When I came into the industry, I've heard a lot of things. I mean, it started with, you have to cold call, you have to put in all these hours doing all this junk work, and by the way, it's sales. So I'm not disagreeing with that. Like it works, it's effective, and you're going to put in some kind of work somehow. It's not easy. But the hard thing is having kids and young kids. Like I always knew at the back of my mind, you're not getting this time back, Cameron. You're not getting this time back. All this time you're putting into this and you're not getting results. You're not like making $100K a year. So like you're taking time away from your family. And I'll be honest with you, my wife, full supported me all through that time. But it does hit a point by that 2 years in, she's like, look, you're not really making money. I mean, like, you're taking all this time away from the family and the kids. Are you really working? Like I see you dicking around, doing stuff. Like, is it really doing any effect? And to her defense, like, she was not wrong. And I realized, even right now, actually, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching this the audio version, it is now 11:55 p.m. and I'm recording this video at night. Why? Because I am starting a second company related to real estate inside of helping other agents. And I need to get videos done. I need this content to go out because whether it be YouTube for my living in channels, helping people relocate to that area, providing value to them, or to generate also clients as well, helping people move, or stuff like this where I get to help agents like yourself or individuals like yourself, just sharing their journey, sharing other people's journey, because I feel obligated to. And the reality is, I mean, even tonight before I came in and did this, you know, my wife, you know, she's kind of like, really, you got it again, you got to do this. And, you know, I have to do it. It has to get done. And the hard thing is I feel like a lot in this industry, a lot of people are older. So they either have older kids when they get into the industry, or they don't have any kids for some reason, especially if they're millennials. I don't care if they're a man or woman. It's common to be like 40, 42. And they're like, I have no kids. And like, this is what you need to do, Cameron. It's like, F you. Don't tell me what I need to do, because I got 3 boys. Now I made that choice. Okay. So I don't blame anyone. It is not a crutch. My children are not a crutch for my success. I need to figure it out. And figure it out I have to some extent. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. But I can tell you that becoming a realtor while having kids is not an easy feat. So if you're not licensed yet and you're looking to get into it, or even being investing, prepare yourself, because you're going to hit a period where you're going to struggle to be like, oh my God, I feel like I haven't stopped working for months. And when was the last time I did anything fun with my kids? I mean, there are times I'll take trips with my family, and my mind is not there. It's just not there. It's gone doing something else. And to be honest with you, I think that I've come to learn with great mentorship and a lot of self-reflection that it's not just real estate, it's just business in general. I am on a mission to be in a place where, to show other agents where I'm like, no, there is a way to do this and not fuck my family. And I'm sorry if this vulgar language bothers you, but it's just the truth. Because I can't. I mean, I left them. I decided not to re-enlist in the Marine Corps to have more time with my family, just to give it up. But the thing is like, I know I want a better financial future for my kids, to show it's possible. I love the fact that my son can have a singing thing at his school on a Friday, and I'm there. I can be there. And understand that if you're looking to get in this industry, that you might have a couple years of pain getting these things rolling. But if you stick with it and you follow the right people, you will be in a place to where you can just take it off the ground. And there's nothing more powerful. So even after all that pain, and just emotional thinking about it. I mean, look, there's nothing more powerful to start this journey, to even if it's only $50K a year you're making, right? But to make $50K a year, and when your son or daughter looks at you and says, hey dad, hey mom, I have this thing on Wednesday, on Tuesday, on Friday, or hey, I don't feel good. Can you stay home? Can you go? You can just without a doubt be like, absolutely. Now you will have to battle with yourself because there are going to be times where like it's going to happen. I hate when people say like, oh, I'm too good. No, I know everyone goes through this where you weigh in your mind. You're like, should I go? But I have this appointment. Oh my God. I had this listing appointment. Wait, I'm supposed to be meeting with this buyer. The greatest thing I realized is, for the first year and a half, 2 years, at least the first year and a half, I fought my kids. If I had a business call, oh my God, I'd freak out. I'd have to leave the room. Oh, my kids can't be nearby. Like, it was this huge thing that I would avoid my kids being involved in my business. I couldn't be around. And I'm here to tell you that is a complete lie. So I had paid for a coaching program. Not going to say the name right now for that, but I was told by that coach for that company, it's like, no, your family needs to understand what you're trying to do, and you need to go out there and do it. You need to cold call 4, even 8 hours a day until you get your business going. And I, looking at him, I'm like, wait, aren't you divorced? Wait, I don't really see you posting about your kids at all on social media. Like, do you even have a relationship with them? And I started looking at this, and like this old school methodology in the industry is like, this is the only way to build this business. And I've started to prove that wrong. And I could not be happier with a smile on my face, because it was some pain getting here, right? The last 12 months, I have just dug in deep, and now I have leads coming to me. Doing videos and YouTube and social media has allowed me to not have to call every day. Did I do it? Yep. Did I get closed deals from it? Yep. Can it be a fast way to close deals? Absolutely. But I can tell you there's nothing more rewarding than doing something like videos where you're actually helping people and they call you like, hey, Cameron, I saw your videos, man. I'm looking to move to Orlando and I need your help. And I just, without a doubt, can be like, absolutely, man. Or woman, it doesn't matter, but I can help you. But it took time to get to that point. And like the industry is so set up for us to think that we can't include our family in this. So when I made that decision, all of a sudden I started taking meetings where my kids they were around my phone calls. And you know what's funny about when I started to just allow and bring my kids and not use them as a crutch? My clients didn't care. In fact, most of them respected me for it. Heck, one of the first times I ever did that, I had a listing close and I brought my kids to the house to drop off a gift for my client, her elderly mother. And my kids were there and they loved them. Like all my clients that I work with are either have families themselves or they're so thankful of how dedicated I am to my family and the fact that my boys are there around with me. So this is definitely a message that like, if you're looking to get into this industry or maybe you already are, don't think you have to like avoid your kids. Oh, they're screaming. Oh, now don't get me wrong. Like there's times where like, hey, like you gotta stay down and do business, right? But like, look, there's a point where like, look, I'm not like my kids have come in Zoom calls. Heck, they're in some of my YouTube videos because they just show up, and I'm like, well, I guess we're doing this now, right? And I do not try and do that. Now, sure. Like there are some times where like I'm recording a podcast for the Cameron Hodge show, or you know, I am taking a Zoom call, and sure, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to the office to do this. But if they happen to walk in, I'm not going to like, oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to apologize for it. Like I might joke around, be like, hey, sorry about that. I'm surprised. Or people they'll be like, oh, my dog's barking on a call or whatever. I'm like, oh, don't worry. I'm surprised my 3-year-old hasn't burst in yet, because they're a part of my life. And if my clients can't accept that, then they're clients I don't want. It's a God's honest truth. I'm here to do business. I'm now at a point where I can comfortably say I'm getting very good at what I do because I'm obsessed with learning how to be a better agent, running numbers better. How can I serve my clients better? And it's at a point where I'm like, I am comfortable to say I can give the best job that I can, and every single month I get better. But my kids are not going to be a crutch for a reason why I can't do it, and they're not going to be a reason why I have to like exclude them from my business. Plus, having 3 boys, I want them to see everything I'm doing. I want them to hear the phone calls. I want them to hear the problems I have to deal with and work through, because that is how it just builds off of them. Like I wish I had experience to that extent for sure in business, because the problems, as we know as agents, as parents, we are solving problems every single day, and our kids are like sponges. And if they get to see us solve those problems calmly, and I'm still guilty of this, right? Like there are still days get to me. Absolutely. I mean, you think it's 12:03 at night. You think I would be recording videos at midnight? No. In a perfect world, I'd be doing them every morning or once a month, a whole content day, and I'd be done. But the reality is, I have kids. It just goes that way. It disappears. I'm just still drinking coffee. And the reality is like I got to do what I got to do. And look, it's definitely a struggle trying to figure out health and trying to build this business. And here are some ways I have found. I mean, look, we're like 13 minutes in, so most people have probably dropped off by this point. But if you haven't dropped off, congratulations, you're going to get the meat of this. So some of the ways I have found to, make my business grow, even while having kids, and the struggles of like having young kids who are at home and stuff like that. I'm not someone who's like, my spouse needs to take care of my kids and I'm going to go out there and do all the work and they're never going to need support. No, my wife has bad days. And I'll be honest with you, I am still not good at it. And I know she's going to listen to this and, babe, I love you. I know I'm not the best at it and I need to get better. But some of the ways I've started to just 6 months have been nuts. How I've just really just trying to dug more into this is I started to make profit, and I took that profit and I rolled it into stuff. So I wanted to do YouTube last year. I wanted to do YouTube. I wanted to use YouTube to not only generate leads, but also help people like us who move into Florida. So I hired a video editor. I know basic editing. I don't have time to edit videos. I'm a parent. But I knew that was a method that could help, people reach out to me who needed my help, instead of me having to cold call them or postcards or all that junk or running ads and all that stuff. So I did it. And now I have tons of people reaching out to me all the time. I mean, I have 10 people lined up for early next year who are moving to Orlando. And I have one right now in Orlando, amazing couple. I'm so thankful I get to be a part of their journey, making the move to Orlando. I have veterans in San Diego where I was before who are now reaching out to me because they see me on social media and they knew I still have my license there and I can help them out, from afar. And that has been an amazing lead source for me. But virtual assistants are really the key to everything. The hardest thing is getting your initial money into it. Now, I'm a risk taker. I definitely pulled some of my own money up front to get my first editor. I will tell you, when the rates went up last year and I had my whole buyer database disappeared, I paid a couple months on credit cards, and that was scary because virtual assistants are people, and while they're contractors technically under the law and code, I can still consider them family, and I take it my responsibility that I need to make sure I pay them regardless of the cost. And I didn't pay myself last year for a chunk. I kept all closings funds staying into that to fuel that business, and it has paid off tenfold. Now, this past week, I just hired an executive assistant. She is now taking over anything that's paperwork related to my business. The onboarding process is tough, but now if I'm doing something with my kids, something comes up, I can be like, hey, remind me to do this then. Hey, here, go to so-and-so in the CRM, schedule a meeting for whatever, tomorrow or whatever. And she's getting it done. That has been an insane level. The problem is getting to that point. So really, you're going to have to struggle. But once you start getting deals closed, YouTube has been amazing to me. Social media has been amazing to me. I have a listing right now in escrow because of social media that I got that lead from. And I hate calling them just leads because they're people who need my help. And when you get people from these sources who reach out to you, they're not leads. They're real people who have already vetted you. They already researched you and they decided that you're the one. So you're not having to sell them. You're not having to convince them. You're just here to help them with what you're good at. Whatever niche you focus on, that's what you're here to help them do. And I take that money into virtual assistants, and now I am actually able to scale my business and leverage myself. My next one's going to be a social media manager who can do all that stuff because I don't have time for that. Shooting these videos is hard enough, man. I don't have time to be scheduling and monitoring and messaging. I just don't. Now I do, right? No matter what, you can't avoid the work. Okay. You're still doing follow-up. You're still having to do all these things. It's just like you're going to have to think outside the box when you're a parent in this business to grow your business. And that has been 1,000% true. And I wish I knew what I knew now. Like I said, I'm coming out with something now. It's going to be called the Tired Agents. It's a whole system of agents who are just tired mentally, emotionally, physically, or they're just tired of hearing the same old bull that the old people in this industry tell us we have to do to make any success in this business. Okay. Sure. If you want to be the top agent in your city, you're probably going to have to let your family go. That goes for any top of any industry. You just have to be so hyper focused. If you don't have kids, congratulations. But for those of us with kids, look, I'm making that trade-off. Sure, I might not be the top agent in my city, but you're dang sure I'm making a good income, making a life I want to live. And the great thing about the tired agent model that I'm coining it as is that a lot of the times I refer out clients. Heck, I could have had an opportunity for a land listing, but I don't really, not in California that much. I don't want to service it. I referred it out. And guess what? I'm still hitting my income goals for the year. So the goal is you don't have to be an agent in production. If you have kids, it's still like a faucet. You can help some clients. If it becomes too much, the government blessed you with this magical license, and now you can refer people out and get a percentage up. I charge 35%. If I'm actually working for the people, my clients, and I refer them out, I charge 35%. Now, if it's just a random person, like a friend or family, I charge 25. It's not a big deal. But when it's an actual lead that someone reached out to me, I will charge a percentage because I worked for that and I did a lot of work up to that point. And the biggest thing is look, you have to think outside the box, like I was saying before. I mean, I hop around this point. It's just, look, I'm so tired of people saying that because you're a parent, you can't succeed in business. You can't do this. And what's weird in society right now is that so many business owners and top leaders and professionals, they have families, but they had kids later, or they really just let their family go. And sure, maybe that works for a lot of people. But for me and my relationship, can't do that. right? I'm trying to build this, but I don't want my wife to just go to the wayside, let my kids go to the wayside. And like I said, I am no shining star. I have a lot to work on. I have failed still in so many ways. I need to go back to dating my wife. I need to go back to doing these things. And that's why I'm going so heavy in what I am now. And that's why virtual assistants have honestly been the biggest blessing in my life. I mean, and a lot of people get really concerned about virtual assistants because, they're like, oh, they only make $3 to $5 an hour. And both of mine make $5 an hour. And they're like, Cameron, that's so low. How could you do that? And look, the reality is they are highly educated workers out of the Philippines. And when I hired my executive assistant, she was in tears because of how happy she got this opportunity. Okay. Good luck finding someone in the United States for even minimum wage or something near it, or even $50,000 a year. They're not going to be in tears. They're going to be like, thanks, I deserve that. So look, it's one of those things where I love helping agents because people like yourself you really need the support because no one's here to support you. It seems like everyone you get into this industry wants to take your money. So beware of pay per lead programs and all this junk that's going to come your way. It is so easily to be distracted on this journey. That's why I'm coming up with this system. Now, at the time of recording this video, the system's not out. And when it is, I'll update it and put it down in the description so you can look into it and you can reach out. But for now, if you're looking to get more information, obviously my contact info is below. And you can also look in the description, whether you're an audio or video of this show. But it's the biggest thing I can leave you with is don't feel alone. Don't feel like it's impossible to become a good real estate agent or a good real estate investor when you have kids. It's not a crutch. And I promise you, you can grow this business even with kids. And I'm not even the most successful person that's done it. There are other agents who are more successful who have done this. I just got tired of seeing people who they don't include their kids in their journey of how much to struggle. This sucks. Like I told you, it's past midnight now. Now it's 12:12 at night and I'm recording this. And I am okay with that. Am I going to be tired? Absolutely. Do I do this every night? Absolutely not. Sleep is very important. And I can tell you that's the biggest struggle. I wish I could do this every single night. If I had it my way, I would be working nonstop every single day to get caught up. But some nights I have to do this. And this weekend is going to be that case because you just go through seasons in this business where you will have to put in some extra work. But I promise you, even showings, oh my God, I forgot about that. Even showings, apps like Showami are awesome. My last client I closed in January, I showed one house to them. Now what I do for all of my buyer clients is I have them sign a buyer broker agreement, which means they're tied to me, and I give them the same spiel, which is like, look, on this buyer journey, I'm going to find some homes, you're going to find some homes, and we're going to connect together to find that perfect house, and I'm here to negotiate for you, give you, advise you. I'm here to help you get the perfect home and area. But sometimes I don't want to be the crutch to where you can't see a home. If a home comes up and you want to get into it and I'm not available for another obligation, I don't want to be the reason you can't get your perfect house. So other agents and other members of my team will be assisting you where I fall short or where I'm unable to assist you in. And I have never had an issue with someone doing that. And I promise you, I never want to go on another showing in my life. Some clients will need a little bit more help, absolutely, and they need a little bit more one-on-one time. But when it comes to weekends and stuff like that, I want my weekends with my kids. So I don't do open houses. Have I? Yes. And I've gotten closings from those too. But I work so much during the week, I don't need to be going on open houses. Now, do I take calls right now? Yes, I do. And that actually might be changing to where, again, that's another thing while I'm doing this video where I'm like, man, why do I take calls on the weekends? I should have on weekends, I have business virtual phone numbers. I should have on the weekends, the numbers go straight to voicemail. And then the voicemail it could have a weekend specific voice. Oh my God. See, I promise you, I have a Facebook group as well. You can comment down below if you want access to it because we're also creating a Facebook group to give this information away for free. Sure, you can pay for the system, but hey man, I'll just give it away to you for free if you're going to put in the work. To where I should create a weekend voicemail that lets people know, hey, thank you so much for reaching out. On the weekends, we're either with showing homes for clients or we're with family, but we will always get back to you ASAP by Monday morning at the latest. If it's really an emergency, you can schedule a Zoom call or whatever the heck you need to do. Oh my God, this is genius. See guys, look, there are so many ways in this modern age to where you can leverage this business while having kids and a family without destroying them. And for some reason, agents just want you to think that you just have to destroy yourself in the process. I promise you don't. And look at right now, you just have to sit down and you just talk about a problem. There's probably a solution out there. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. This is great. I ended it on a note where I'm going to probably make that change this next week in my business. That's great. I got to do that because, I'll take text messages. So that's great. I can have a voicemail. Oh my God, guys. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go implement this system. But in reality, I really need to go to bed first, and I'll just make a note about it for my assistant to help me next week create this process. But just understand you're not alone, and there are people and agents just like you, whether you're about to become a realtor with kids or maybe you're already an agent with kids and you're just struggling. You're not alone. And I promise you, while the market gets bad, deals happen every single day. Ricky Cruz said this, and it's so freaking true. Deals happen every single day. And sure, it might take a little bit of work, a little bit of finesse with kids to make this industry work for you, but I promise you, it is possible. You are not alone. So I hope you got value in this video, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video or the next episode.